Hi guys, it's Debbie. A couple of months ago I created a video in which I recommended some good but little known films, and today I have more on my list that I would like to share with you. You might already be familiar with some of these titles, but in general they're films which I consider good but have never received a particularly extensive attention or which are hardly ever spoken about. I won't be revealing too much about each film to avoid ruining the plot, but in addition to my introduction and recommendation, in the description box down below you will find the trailer to each film, so you can check everything out and see if there could be anything you're interested in. The first film I would like to speak about today is End of Watch, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Peña. This film is directed by David Ayer, which is famous, for example, for creating Suicide Squad, but in my opinion End of Watch is one of his best films and people hardly ever speak about it. End of Watch follows the lives of two LAPD officers and best friends while they patrol the streets and also in their personal life beyond their job. The film is mostly captured through the policeman's cameras, which are set, for example, on the car or on their suit, and one of the two even vlogs what he is doing during the day, creating a more engaging mood for the audience as viewers feel as if they are also there on the spot. On a daily basis, the two officers mostly have to deal with isolated episodes of violence, fires, shootings, noise complaints and gang criminality, but they soon notice something much bigger and eerier going on. This film is on the one hand very fun and entertaining, with a lot of humour created by the special bond between the two policemen, their strong friendship, but in other moments it is very dark, and in some scenes it reminded me of Sicario by Denis Villeneuve. This is definitely a film I would recommend for some strong emotions. The next film on the list is Filth, which stars James McAvoy as controversial and manipulative police sergeant Bruce Robertson. He pursues a lifestyle made of substance abuse and depression, and as we follow his life in and out of work and in his private moments, we see that there is a much darker background and that his life is spiraling out of control. This film aims at shocking the audience with the harshness of the topics and the crude way in which they are depicted, and there are also many bizarre images inserted throughout the film in order to better portray the main character's chaotic mind. I don't want to reveal too much about the plot, as I was saying earlier, but I'll just say that this film is based on the novel Filth by Irvine Welsh, which also wrote Trainspotting, the story of a group of drug addicts. So it is another example of very dark humour and a realistic depiction of a very grim aspect of the character's life. In addition to James McAvoy, the main cast also includes other famous names such as Jamie Bell, Jim Broadbent and Shirley Henderson. The next film I'd like to speak about is Monster, created by Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman, and starring Charlize Theron in the tough role of serial killer Eileen Wuornos. Wuornos was an infamous criminal which at the end of the 1980s killed several men, and which was particularly known in the public eye after her incarceration because of her wild, incoherent and paranoid statements. In Monster we follow her life starting from her younger years before all of this even began. So we have a very deep, very scary insight into the main character's personality. Charlize Theron completely transformed for this role. She gained many pounds, she wore prosthetics, fake teeth, she shaved her eyebrows, and her acting was so accurate that she won an Oscar for Best Actress as well as the Golden Globe. I would recommend watching this film if you liked series such as Netflix's Mindhunter, which offers a different, interesting and cultivated approach to the theme of real-life serial killers without just selling off the gory information. The next film I would like to speak about is a completely different one from everything else on the list today, and that is It's Kind of a Funny Story. It's Kind of a Funny Story is a comedy starring Zach Galifianakis, Emma Roberts, Kia Gilchrist, Lauren Graham, Thomas Mann, Zoe Kravitz and Viola Davis. This film introduces us to 16-year-old Craig, which, feeling overwhelmed by everything in his life, especially the pressure of excelling at school, considers committing suicide and enters a hospital in search for help. He is admitted to the psychiatric ward, but as the teen unit is undergoing renovations, he is placed in the adult ward. During his stay, he meets and befriends other patients, in particular Bobby and another teenager, Noelle, and many adventures and different situations evolve from this point. This is a comedy, so it has many funny moments. Zach Galifianakis introduces a lot of humour, but at the same time it does not make fun of the patient situation. On the contrary, it has a very mature approach to the issues they are going through, a concept which is often underestimated or ignored by other similar films, in which depression or in general mental illness is considered part of the joke. So I would recommend this film to anybody searching for something light and fun, but at the same time a sensible comedy. The next film I'd like to speak about is The Wave, a German crime/thriller film. The Wave is based on a real social experiment which took place in California during the 1960s. Both in real life and in the film, a high school teacher was educating his students on the concept of totalitarian regimes and of how they can quickly manipulate the masses and appeal to many people, although the ideology behind them is completely twisted and wrong. To explain this better and to prove how this could still happen in modern society, the professor created a small group called The Wave and had its students follow its new strict rules, be loyal to it, in general adhere to all its ideals. Over the course of days and weeks, the experiment spiraled completely out of control as students, especially those who had always been marginalized, started to feel proud and loyal to the group. They even introduced a salute, a symbol, they wore a uniform, and tried to spread the ideals even in an extreme manner. So this film is an interesting analysis of regimes, of social experiments, and even of our modern society. There is another film covering a similar topic, so the topic of real-life social experiments, which is Stanford Prison Experiment. So with this video, I hope I managed to pass on some good films. As soon as I think of other ones, I will create a new list. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more movie-related content, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!